Things are heating up in Baltimore. After yet another painful loss, the entire stadium erupted with chants of "Fire Harbaugh," demanding the head of the man who's led the Ravens for nearly 20 years. But while fans were boiling over in frustration, ESPN just dropped a massive bucket of cold water on anyone expecting quick changes. One of the most respected insiders in the league revealed something that left a lot of people stunned. And if he's right, Ravens fans are in for a real test of patience. What's going on behind the scenes in Baltimore to completely change the direction of the season, and maybe even the future of the franchise? The mood in Baltimore has turned heavy. After their latest loss, M&T Bank Stadium turned into a boiling pot of frustration, with chants of "Fire Harbaugh" echoing through every section. It wasn't just a few angry fans. It was the entire crowd, united in disappointment, tired of watching this team blow games they should be winning. You could feel it in the air. The patience is gone. John Harbaugh has been the face of the Ravens for 18 years, and that comes with two sides. On one hand, he's a coach who brought stability, wins, and a Super Bowl to the city. On the other, he's now the symbol of a team that feels stuck in time, unable to evolve or take that next big step. Each new loss only deepens that feeling, like the bond between Harbaugh and Baltimore is quietly starting to wear thin. What makes it worse is how far reality is from the preseason expectations. Coming into the year, the talk was all about a Super Bowl run, a healthy Lamar Jackson, a deeper roster, a solid defense. Everything pointed to a contender. But 6 weeks later, the Ravens are sitting at 1-5, and that dream has completely collapsed. Falls like that usually bring consequences, and everyone in Baltimore knows it. Those "Fire Harbaugh" chants aren't just about one coach. They're about years of built-up frustration, about a fan base tired of coming close but never finishing the job. It's a plea for change, for something that brings a spark back to the city. But while the stands were demanding answers, the message coming from inside the league left everyone stunned. And that's where ESPN comes in. While fans were calling for Harbaugh's job, the message from behind the scenes couldn't have been more different. ESPN insider Dan Graziano said John Harbaugh is in no danger of losing his job right now, not even if the season keeps spiraling out of control. According to him, the Ravens front office is standing firmly behind their head coach, believing the team's problems go far beyond what happens on the sideline. It's not what the fans want to hear, but it shows how the organization sees things with a much colder, more calculated eye. Graziano explained that Baltimore has always been one of the most stable front offices in the NFL. They don't make emotional, knee-jerk decisions. Even with fans chanting for change, the franchise still views Harbaugh as a symbol of leadership, respect, and consistency. To them, firing him isn't the solution. Fixing the problems from within is. That mindset shows just how much trust Harbaugh still holds inside the building. He's been through ups and downs before, rebuilding years, roster shakeups, brutal injury waves, and every time he's found a way to bring the team back to relevance. For the front office, that history matters more than a rough stretch. They still see a coach who's proven his worth and who they believe can steer things back on track, no matter how hot the seat gets. But Graziano's comments ended up shaking things even more. Fans were expecting drastic action, something immediate. Instead, hearing that nothing's changing for now felt like another gut punch. And then Graziano added one more line that turned heads. If Harbaugh did get fired, he'd instantly become the hottest coaching name on the market. According to Graziano, if John Harbaugh were let go today, he'd instantly be the top head coaching candidate available. And that says a lot about how he's still viewed around the NFL. Even with the Ravens collapsing through one of the worst starts of his tenure, his resume speaks for itself. Over 60% career win rate, 13 playoff victories, and a Super Bowl title. In a league constantly recycling coordinators into first-time head coaches, a guy with that kind of track record is gold. That reputation is exactly why the Ravens are being so cautious. The front office knows what they've got: a respected leader, trusted in the locker room, and one of the longest tenured coaches in the league. Replacing that isn't easy, and Baltimore understands that one wrong move could create an even bigger mess. Experience and proven success still outweigh the frustration of one bad season, at least for now. But that same history has started to work against him. The longer Harbaugh stays, the louder the demands for results become. Since that 2012 Super Bowl, the Ravens have had solid seasons but never made that deep playoff run again. Meanwhile, coaches like Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan have redefined offensive football and turned their teams into modern juggernauts. The league has evolved, and Baltimore hasn't kept up. Still, the respect for Harbaugh remains his strongest shield. Inside the NFL, he's not seen as a problem. Not yet. But as losses pile up and the team keeps sinking, even that reputation might not be enough to save him, especially when things out of his control keep making the situation worse.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
You can't talk about Baltimore's collapse without mentioning the injuries. The Ravens have been absolutely wrecked this season. Key players on the offensive line, the secondary, the backfield, all going down. Even Lamar Jackson missed time. No coach can keep a team at its best when he's losing starters every week. And even though Harbaugh keeps trying to adjust and adapt, the team just can't find its rhythm. Those absences tell part of the story. But they also raise a tough question. How much of this is bad luck, and how much is a deeper, long-term issue? Baltimore has always been known for its structure, discipline, and elite conditioning. But in recent years, the injury bug has hit harder and more often. Harbaugh himself has admitted it's something they need to fix, but the pattern keeps repeating, and it's killing their chances year after year. Still, fans don't care about excuses. When you're sitting at 1-5 after starting the year talking about Super Bowl hopes, no one wants to hear about bad luck. Fans see the same mistakes, the same collapses, the same frustration, and they point the finger straight at the coach. At this point, Harbaugh is the face of the crisis, whether it's fair or not. It's a mix of frustration and inevitability. Harbaugh has been through a lot, but he's never faced a Baltimore this impatient, this angry. And what makes it worse is that now he's being compared to another longtime AFC North coach facing similar pressure, Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Like Tomlin, John Harbaugh is respected, consistent, and steady, but the patience that once defined both franchises is wearing thin. Harbaugh hasn't lifted the Lombardi Trophy since 2012, and the Ravens haven't felt truly dangerous in years. Time moves on, the league changes, and Baltimore seems stuck in the same cycle. Good, but never great. The comparison to the Steelers is impossible to ignore. Tomlin hears the same criticism. Solid record, no recent playoff success. And just like Pittsburgh, Baltimore values stability above all else. That's why Harbaugh still has strong backing internally. But when the results disappear, even the most loyal organizations start questioning their own identity. Now the real question becomes, how long will that loyalty last? Harbaugh is the second longest tenured coach in the NFL, behind only Bill Belichick, and that longevity is both a badge of honor and a reminder that maybe change is overdue. The front office knows that whatever they decide about Harbaugh will shape the franchise's future for years to come. For now, though, nothing seems imminent. According to ESPN, the bond between Harbaugh and the Ravens is still too strong to break over one disastrous season. But if the losing continues, even history might not save him. What started as angry chant in the stands has turned into a question hanging over the entire organization. And every game from here on out could determine John Harbaugh's fate in Baltimore. The truth is, Baltimore's situation has turned into one big question mark. The fans are out of patience. The pressure is through the roof, and the team looks nothing like the contender it was supposed to be. But despite the anger, the chants, and the growing chaos, ESPN made it clear. The organization still believes in John Harbaugh, at least for now. The real question is, how long will that belief last? If the losses keep piling up, will the Ravens really stay loyal to their coach? Or are we watching the final chapter of an 18-year era? One thing's for sure, the next few weeks will define not just Harbaugh's future, but the future of the entire franchise.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.